Welcome back to Phil's Media. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the subscription. No thanks so much. Thank you so much guys for that subscription guys, and we are going road to 1,000 subscribers and I do appreciate. I don't take that for granted. Na leo is a new episode. Tell the story with Takuna, and today's story is gonna be a little bit fun, a little bit crazy. So guys, let's dive into the story. Na hapo ndipo naupeleka. I am the only content creator in this Republic of Kenya, together with mkurugenzi ambayo tunawapeleka majuu bila kuwalipisha fare, bila kuwalipisha, pamoja na DJ Afro. Of course, sisi Saudi DJ Afro tunawapeleka majuu bila fare, bila visa. That's why you need to subscribe to this channel. So guys, without wasting much time, tuendeni Mexico. Let's go to Mexico. Mwaka ni wa 1993. We are talking about the world biggest drug cartel, the one and only El Chapo. Ndugu zangu, I'm telling you this. Kama kumewahi kuwa na mtu hatari pande za drugs, ni this guy called El Chapo. Na leo we are going to talk about how he managed to escape 4 times akiwa kwa prison. The world's greatest prison escapee, the one and only El Chapo. So 1993, El Chapo, who is the most dangerous drug cartel in Mexico, akakuwa arrested for the first time. So El Chapo, the biggest drug cartel in Mexico, and so they formed this cartel group called the Sinaloa cartel, ambaye ndio alikuwa mkubwa wao. There was sasa El Chapo. El Chapo alikuwa mkubwa wa the Sinaloa cartel. So in 1993, El Chapo got arrested for the first time ever in history. Akakuwa arrested, akafungwa jela. There was a name for that prison, but I don't know. If I know, I will, before I edit this video, I'll put it down here. All the names and bazita. So El Chapo akakuwa arrested, akapelekwa pale kwa prison. This prison was kind of a military kind of a prison. It's a big prison with a huge security. But remember one thing, this is Mexico, where drugs are everywhere, these cartels are everywhere, corrupt people everywhere. So, in this prison, where El Chapo is detained, I can meet this guy who is the deputy chief of security of this prison, and it was Damaso Lopez. Damaso Lopez was the deputy chief of security in this prison. Akakuwa mabeste na nani? Akakuwa mabeste na El Chapo, who is the biggest drug cartel in Mexico, and he's the head of the Sinaloa cartel. This means that El Chapo kana pesa, El Chapo can do anything to you. So akapewa this guy, akakuwa mabeste. Definitely Damaso Lopez akaanza kukuwa na maganje. So huyu jamaa akiwa kwa prison, kwa prison amefungwa, but the problem is, I'm telling you, sasa ameshikana na the deputy chief of security wa hapo, huyu anaitwa Damaso Lopez. So huyu jamaa El Chapo anapata, and she can get everything he needs while in prison: women, drugs, phone. So this guy was still operating this gang of him akiwa wapi? Iko kwa prison. In fact, the statistics says that El Chapo was even empire yake imekuwa big akiwa prison. than the time alikuwa outside, which is very very strange. So this guy akakuwa ana access these things zote, and while in prison he discovered a new way of transporting drugs to the United States, because walikuwa na believe US ndio iko na market ya drugs, which is very true. And if there is a country that El Chapo alikuwa hatred, yani alikuwa anachukia, the US. So what happened? El Chapo discovered this new way of getting drugs to the United States, because they used to transport by watu wanabeba wakitembea, wanavuka border na ingiza US, but El Chapo akadiscover this new way ambaye through tunnels. So El Chapo and hire engineers, they dig tunnels that cross from Mexico to where? To the United States. And that's the way El Chapo aliweza kupeleka drugs zake wapi? US. Until it is believed, because it's in statistics, that the empire of El Chapo while he is in prison grew to a point that El Chapo alikuwa anaingiza $20 million in a month. That is crazy, man. $20 million. That's why El Chapo will always remain to be the biggest drug cartel in Mexico. So El Chapo akikuwa prison akadiscover this new way of kupeleka drugs US, and that's how the United States became interested with El Chapo. So there is something called extradition. So extradition, US wanaambia Mexico, extradite this guy to us ndio tumfunge huko, because that's the thing about extradition, you understand. But Mexico walikuwa wanasema we can handle our own prisoners, hatuwezi wapatia. So kulikuwa na hiyo mvutano, but the moment El Chapo alisikia story ya US wameanza kuleta story ya extradition, akaanza kutafuta mbinu ya kutoka kwa prison. So in 2001 Mexican Supreme Court wakaintroduce new law ya kusema hao watu wako extradited to the United States waende wahukumiwe huko. El Chapo nani akaanza kutafuta mbinu za kutoka kwa jela. So in January 19, 2001, you remember that guy I told you who is the deputy chief of security, anaitwa Damaso Lopez. Do you remember that guy? Wakakuwa mabeste na El Chapo, and he's the head of security. El Chapo akamwambia I want to escape. Huyu jamaa Damaso Lopez kwa sababu ameanza kupata maganji, akamwambia no problem, nitakusaidia. So on January 19, 2001, Damaso Lopez, who is the head of deputy chief of security, akapunguza the number of guards ambayo walikuwa hapo kwa hiyo prison ya El Chapo. What does that mean? El Chapo sasa anaweza toka kwa urahisi. You understand? But nje bado kuna guards. So Damaso Lopez akafanya mambo yake, guards wakapunguzwa on that specific date, that is January 19, 2001. So after kupunguza the number of guards, El Chapo obvious ameanza kuhonga maskari hapo, wale aliachwa walihongwa, so ukakuwa na easy access. Then there's this guy in every prison, there are these guys that wanachukua laundry, wanaenda kuosha, hizo ndio kazi yao. So you know those things za kusukuma nguo. So the akamshika one guy, akamhonga, and akaingia kwa deal. So when this guy got in this deal, he was the one supposed to kufungua the prison ya El Chapo na mwingize on that thing ya nguo ya laundry, amsafirisha mpaka kwa gari. And that's exactly what happened. And it happened so easy due to the minimum security ambayo ilikuwa on that specific day kwa your prison. So that's how El Chapo escaped for the first time in prison. with the help of Damaso Lopez. So of course Damaso Lopez alikuja akafutwa kazi because without kuhukumiwa, alifutwa kazi because hiyo kitu ku happen is very bad, so akafutwa kazi, which of course El Chapo alimuingiza kwa gang yake, which atakuja kuwa the right hand man wake in future. So El Chapo akatoroka akazungusha in 4 location na hiyo gang yake, so that his location cannot be easily attracted. Understand? And that's how the guy managed to escape from prison for the first time without actually being caught. So akazungusha within those 4 locations, and El Chapo managed to escape from being caught again for 14 years. 14 years from 2001, that is 2015. Now let's go to 2014. Yes, 14 years of El Chapo escaping from prison. So of course this gang El Chapo, the Sinaloa cartel, has become much more bigger and has become a threat to the United States. So on February 17, 2014, forces entered El Chapo's house, one of these houses that El Chapo's Ilpoco Mountains, secret houses. So forces za Mexico with the help of the United States zikaenda by that house. El Chapo was of course sleeping, and alikuwa na the right hand man wake who is the Damaso Lopez. So Damaso akaamka akajua kuna forces nje ya gate, akaenda kamamusha El Chapo. So kamamusha El Chapo, what happened? Every house El Chapo, it always had an exit route, and that's how El Chapo managed to escape for the second time. He escaped through a bathtub. Alichimba tunnel chini ya bathtub, which he escaped through that tunnel, and it took almost 4 hours for the forces to discover that El Chapo escaped through this point. Why? First of all, wakibreak hiyo mlango, the door was sealed and it was fortified, so it took time for the Mexican forces to kuingia kwa nyumba. But before ingie, they realized there is movement in the house. So when they get into the house and didn't find anybody, walijiuliza maswali and wakazunguka until they got the exit. El Chapo, together his second wife with the right hand man, wali managed to escape through the tunnel. And that's how El Chapo managed to escape for the second time. Imagine. That's how El Chapo managed to escape for the second time. Yeah. Is it the second time or the third? I think it's the second time. He managed to escape for the second time through the bathtub. But US sasa wameingia ikezi, so waka come up na the new ways of catching this guy El Chapo. So they approach a Colombian guy who is working as a technician in the Sinaloa cartel. Wakama approach wakama ni kumuingiza box wa awak na wao. And that's how the United States together with the Mexican forces managed to track El Chapo movements. And that's why after 5 days, that is February 22, 2014, El Chapo was arrested again at the Mirama Hotel, because El Chapo realized this guy amejua kwangu, so I can divert their attention, niende ni step ali awatarajiani. But he didn't know that system yake imemanipulatiwa. He's Colombian technician and work for the Mexican, the US forces, because now Mexican na US wameamua kufanya this case pamoja. So akashikwa at the Mirama Hotel na kajiuliza how na watu wamenishikaje. But on February 22nd, 2022 of 2014, El Chapo alishikwa tena akapelekwa the same prison and escaped. So akafungwa. and now the US wamenakimbiza history ya extradition. So and this prison now there's rules that wezi si kila mtu anaenda huko, only very few people can visit you. That included lawyer wa El Chapo, 2 the wife, the second wife ya El Chapo. El Chapo na anataka escape because that I was extradited to the United States. Anaanza kufanya nini? Anaanza kutafuta mipango ya kufanya nini? Ya escape prison bana. So akaanza kumwambia lawyer wake ana communicate to the gang, to Domeza Lopez and the sons, because our sons wake actually walikuwa the top people kwa gang. So I'm going to execute everything together with Domeza Lopez. Domeza Lopez nakumwa alifutwa kazi na prison, akajiriwa na El Chapo. And currently, actually Domeza Lopez alipanda ranks mpaka akakuwa the right hand man wa El Chapo. So the wife and the lawyer wanapeleka messages kwao that the El Chapo anataka kutoka prison. What do? We execute a plan ya kutoka kwa prison because before we extradited to the United States. That's exactly what happened. Wakaanza kuchora plan, and the first thing, hii prison ilikuwa bali ambayo is agriculture inafanyika around. So what they do, they had to find how to purchase land, because yani El Chapo gang wamekuwa powerful now, wamekuwa very skilled in building tunnels. That's the only idea they have, who build tunnel mpaka into prison. And that's how they do. That's how actually they did. Walinunua land which is 1.5 kilometer away from the prison ndio wasijulikane, because if they come closer, actually our maskaro na kuanga kwa towers that realize, and they bought a land 1.5 kilometer away from the prison, which they have to dark a tunnel to the prison. Na pale kwa prison ndio normal. First of all, walikuwa na shida moja. How can they identify that this is El Chapo's prison? Number 2, how can they identify, because kwa El Chapo prison it was a cubicle na kakona moja ni kakona pali kama bafu na kacho, and that's the only place haikuwa na camera, bafu na kacho. So the only place that wangeza kwenda kutokelea kwa prison ni kupitia hiyo bafu, that bathroom. So first of all, walikuwa na problem moja. How can they identify that this is El Chapo's prison? Number 2, how can they identify that this is the exact place bathroom iko ndio tutatokelezea na hii tunnel yetu? El Chapo, as usual, came up with an idea, because he had a GPS tracker on his leg. Akasema, I can use the same technology to notify those people ambayo wanajenga tunnel the exact place the bathroom iko. So akamwambia wife yake, smart game, amlete GPS tracker. The wife cannot enter the prison with the GPS tracker. So the GPS tracker came in form of a watch, ikaiko kwa watch. So the security personnel didn't take so much notice of the watch, but the watch had a GPS tracker which will eventually be used as an identifier that this is the exact place the tunnel is supposed to end. Na hapo ndio El Chapo atatokelezea, atapitia na atoroke. So they bought the land and they started digging. Everything happened so smoothly. Actually, they didn't it underground, nisikuwe notice. Walijenga tunnel ya kifahari until kuna barabara chini. There's a road up to the prison via the tunnel. There is ventilation system. There are lights in the tunnel. So, on June 2015, the wife akamwambia, El Chapo received news. Akamwambia, the tunnel is almost ready. So El Chapo akasema on 4th July 2015, is the day I'm going to escape from prison. Why this day? Because on 4th July is the United States Independence Day. So alikuwa nataka kufrustrate US that nimetoroka jela on one of the most important days in your country. But as long kawaida ya maisha plan vitu zako unaona vitu zingine. So akaambiwa kuna vitu tunafaa kurekebisha kwa 100% that the escape is going to be right. So akaambiwa in 1 week time, that's the day the escape is going to happen. So on July 11, 2015, El Chapo escaped for the that time in prison. I'll escape for that time in prison via the bathroom. So it took actually the prison guards 40 minutes to realize that Chapa yuko prison guard. Na wakabelieve huyu jamaa anajificha kwa bafu. So kwenda huko walistuka kupata tani. Immediately silent. But El Chapo alitoka kapelekwa, actually I told you kuna road huko chini kwa tunnel, so alipanda nduthi teke nduthi nyingine kampeleka Mexico City, akaingia trailer ndege to one of his hiding places, and El Chapo managed to escape for the next 16 months. So akaingia mitini 16 months. So on January 2017 El Chapo akashikwa tena. How did he manage kushikwa? In Mexico City, the forces wamekuwa kufuata tu El Chapo forces. So wakadecide the only way we can track El Chapo right now ni kufuata the closest people to him, like his sons, the Amazon Lopez. So wakafuata. And one day in Mexico City, wakarealize there's a building, kuna movement, nikawa watu wanapatana pamoja, and they keep referring to someone as grandma, like kusema grandma is coming, prepare yourself. So I realized this grandma must be El Chapo. So wakakarada, and immediately convoy ikakam ya El Chapo. So hakumuona because iliingia kwa garage, but because they were listening to what's going on in the house, they realized the voice of El Chapo. And immediately wakaraid. But as always, every El Chapo building has an escape route. El Chapo managed to escape through a mirror. Yani kioo imekuwa ukuta, lakini pande ile ni tani. Aka manage to escape. Walipata tu watu wengine, lakini hawakupata El Chapo. But El Chapo didn't know that now siku za nyani ni 40. So El Chapo kama managed to escape. Na wakaenda na the Amazon Lopez, wakaiba gari because they escaped together, wakachukua gari, wakaenda Kenya. But as they around 20 kilometers away from the house, 4 police officers managed to catch El Chapo. Wakamshika El Chapo, wakapiga picha as usual. El Chapo unajua shida ya mtu akona pesa, anaona kama he's untouchable. El Chapo akajaribu kuambia Wezi mkubali ganji, wakaambia zi. So wakampiga picha and immediately wakasema tuko na El Chapo, and the forces immediately, and that's how El Chapo went back to prison for the 4th time. But remember, I escaped also for 4 times. And El Chapo kidogo hivi akiwa prison, the United States of America wakafanya mambo yao. El Chapo tu alijisukia ako New York, amekuwa extradited, and that's the first time the biggest drug cartel in the world, in the head of the Sinaloa cartel, ameonekana machozi kwa macho, because man ukiingia US as a drug cartel, you will never come back. So akatupo one of the most secured prisons in the world, which is in Colorado. And as we talk, El Chapo is still in Colorado, figuring out a way he can escape. But for me, I think as long as I know wale watu walikuwa na wasurround, it's not gonna happen. So guys, I love you. That's the story of today. Please subscribe if you like this kind of content. Notify me because this isn't nitakuwa nawaletea almost tuseme kila wiki ka episode kamoja. And I love you guys and see you on my next video. Thanks.